Seductive. What do you think? Seductive. That's nice.
It's really good.
Welcome to the 2020 WOFF Q&A with filmmakers in the category Water. All the films are on the WOFF website, where you can also buy your ticket. My name is Carmen Slijpen. I'm the director and film programmer at the Depot Cinema in Lewes, East Sussex, where we've been hosting WOFF for the last 2 years. We were, of course, also hoping to host WOFF this year, but all things considering, there is no equivalent or substitute to real life interactions, but it's really wonderful that Nicola and her team have been able to move the WOFF Festival online. Nicola won't speak as she's the producer. Can I now please ask everybody to introduce themselves, starting with Diane?
Hello, my name is Diane Tuft. I'm from New York, and I am the director, producer, creator of Coastal Requiem.
Hello, I'm Alison Piper. I'm the director of the short film Duck Days, and I'm tuning in from Glasgow in Scotland today.
Hello, I'm Şule Takmaz Nişancıoğlu. I'm the director and producer of the film My Beautiful Turkish Bath. I'm in London at the moment.
Hello, my name is Nevra. I've worked with Şule on My Beautiful Turkish Bath as the camera person and the editor, and I'm also from London.
Bonjour, my name is Catherine Fauteux. I am the director of The Bridge. I am in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, in Canada.
Bonjour, my name is Chantal Caron. I'm from Quebec, Canada. I'm producer and realizator. And the name is the movie is Clémentine.
So my name is Angélique. I'm the daughter of Chantal. And I will be here today for help her in English because we are French Canadian, so sometimes English can be difficult for us.
Thank you. It's really wonderful to see you. First thing, of course, I want to say out to the public as well that I've really, really enjoyed all your films. They are little gems in itself. And it's great to see you all. I know for some of you it's quite early. So thank you very much for getting up early and joining us today. My first question is kind of two things. One is, when did you make your film? Because some of the subject matters in your film are kind of time specific, I feel. And what inspired you to make it? And we're going to start off with Diane again.
I made the film last year. It was, for me, very important. I'm a photographer and artist. I have been involved in documenting climate change since 1998, documenting what our sun is doing to our Earth and what we are doing to our Earth. My last series was The Arctic Melt, Images of a Disappearing Landscape, which is documenting what's happening in the Arctic that will cause ocean rise. And the next series, which is this series called Rising Tide, is a composition of film, which is Coastal Requiem, photographs, and actually installations that are made with different debris that has been washed ashore from the ocean. So Coastal Requiem is part of my artistic installation. So I've traveled through the United States, to the Pacific Islands of Kiribati and the Marshall Islands, and to Bangladesh to see what was happening with ocean rise in terms of displacing the people that are living in these areas and the disappearance of their land.
So Duck Days is a short fiction. I was a director. It was written by a very talented playwright called Julia Taudovan, and this was her first screenplay. And I was drawn to the story because I quite like films that use humour to talk about slightly controversial issues. And Duck Days is about a woman who returns to her homeland on the Isle of Lewes for the funeral of her father, and in doing so unearths a childhood trauma that she ends up dealing with and navigating by transforming it into this quite comical, like quacking, flapping duck. So the film deals with a lot of issues of community complicity, and it's set in a place and time where everyone kind of knows something bad's happened, but people just don't talk about it. It's a lot about kind of like how community and complicity can be intertwined. And we had a lot of fun making it together. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy it.
The film is about community spirit, shared memories, campaigning for things that we love and cherish in our cities. So at one level, it is about shared memories. Sound of water, the heat that hits your skin when you first step into a hot room in a Turkish bath, echoing of voices around you in such an intimate place, stepping out in a cold, crisp winter day from a Turkish bath, the buzz that you get from those feelings. Those are the things that stay with us, and those senses, I think, tie us to a moment, to a space, to a building, and we feel compelled to fight or campaign to keep those memories. I have a Turkish background, and I have very fond memories, childhood memories of going to hammams, and it was almost like I felt like kinship with the campaigners in Newcastle. It was like, we were kindred spirits, thinking about the same things.
Well, The Bridge is a frame-by-frame animation about a woman who's falling into Alzheimer's disease. It was inspired by my mother, who was sick with Alzheimer. When she left her home to go for the hospital, I found some letters, some correspondence that she had with a man who was living near a covered bridge. When I read that, the idea came to make this film about my mother and how I felt about this experimenting with Alzheimer, with a person, a woman who is falling into Alzheimer. It is like a deconstruction, like what's going on in her mind, in her head, in her heart. The bridge is important in the film because I make a parallel about in a real bridge, covered bridge in Brébeuf here, in a little village. The bridge is 100 years old, and every year, every spring, there's a flood that goes and that broke the bridge. And I made a parallel with that woman, the character who's drowning into Alzheimer, and the bridge that is going out with the water. The last time my mother made, when she goes out, we found her at the bridge, at the covered bridge. So that story, those facts, inspired me to film The Bridge. I hope that you like it. Thank you.
And do you have some of the animated figures behind you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. It's very nice. They're beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for that, Catherine. Chantal.
Clémentine est une démarche artistique entamée en 2015, alors que j'ai invité des danseurs, 4 danseurs à venir performer à même le gravier à ciel ouvert chez nous dans mon petit village.
So, Clémentine, for Chantal, it's beginning in 2015 when she invited some dancers to perform here in the open air show in our village, sorry. So our village, the name is Saint-Jean-Port-Joli here.
Souvent, mes films sont l'aboutissement d'un long processus créatif. Alors que j'invite des danseurs à venir chez nous, on travaille toujours à même la nature. C'est l'environnement qui est ma source principale d'inspiration.
So for Chantal, the movie are often the result of a long process. We call it in situ. So it's to be inspired with the nature here, to be inspired by the St. Lawrence River. So it's very like to be in the same, it's very like to feel the environment, and after that to like dance with that and really like feel it.
Dans ce cas-ci, j'ai voulu partir d'une cellule féminine qui allait donner vie à tout ce qui existe présentement sur la Terre. Et je suis partie de l'élément de la sédimentation, où c'est vraiment un long processus de transformation.
The idea of Clementine is to start with the female idea to give the life, and the idea is to start like at the beginning of the life, so at the sedimentation. I don't know if everyone understand sedimentation is
like sediments, like the mud that's in the film. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, no, it's okay. So that's it.
Great, wonderful. Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you for all your answers. I've got so many more questions. I would really like to talk to each of you individually, but as is a group Q&A, let's move on with another sort of slightly more general question. Also, one thing to say, Diane, if Alison could come in before you, so if she could answer first, please, because she's got to go back to her other job, I think, shortly. So WOFF has collated all your films under the theme water. What is the importance of water in your film, please, Alison?
That's a really good question, and I'm so pleased that you're asking that about Duck Days, because it's set on an island, so it's surrounded by water, and I'd never really thought before you asked this question to us what that really represented in my film. And because Duck Days deals with this character played by Daniela Nardini, who's our lead role, which is I think why Duck Days was selected to take part in your festival. She's a tremendous actress who's in her 50s, and aside from the duck, I think absolutely steals the show. So we were very excited to work with her. But yeah, her character returns from mainland Scotland, where she's been living, to her homeland on the Isle of Lewes. So for me, that kind of transition for her of leaving her own grown-up daughter and going back across the water to visit her mother and to kind of re-enter this environment where she'd suffered abuse as a child really represents the water as this threshold that she crosses, and it's this boundary that she crosses into an unknown, in terms of she's not really sure how she's going to feel about going back to her homeland. And yeah, I think in a nice way that I hadn't really thought about before in this film, the crossing of water represents transition from certainty to uncertainty. And at the end of the film, not to give you any spoilers, but water re-emerges and actually becomes this quite hopeful image, and this idea of like moving forward, of motion. So yeah, it was a nice thing to be able to include in the film as a concept.
It's great. She's a very brave woman in the film.
Thank you.
I really like the ending after her act, how people respond. I thought that was brilliant. Really,
Great.
really fabulous. Thank you for that. Diane, do you want to come in at this stage?
The entire film is about water. The series is called Rising Tide, and Coastal Requiem is our homage to water. The world depends on water. Depends on the type of water. So when you watch the film, you're going to see people that have been displaced because of the encroachment of water on their property. What also happens is that the salinization of the ocean going into the agricultural areas that are dependent on water will then change a crop. And basically, the people that are dependent on the water will basically not have that crop in order to propagate, and they'll have to change to a different crop. It is not only coastal, but it is also rainfall that will create flooding. Bangladesh is a delta. Most of it is at sea level. Half of the country will probably be underwater in the next 40 years, and we'll have millions of people being displaced. So water is the main focus of the entire movie, and its importance and its destruction in terms of what will happen if we do not address climate change. And I've done the movie in a way where I'm hoping people will be able to understand it more than just a documentary. It is really an art film. There is poetry that goes throughout the film. There are many, many images that are quite beautiful and yet sad because they will be disappearing.
I think that's brilliantly explained, Diane. Really, all of that comes across in your film. It's beautifully shot, and I really love that poetic voiceover and that really sad moment that people from an incredibly beautiful environment then inevitably have to move to cities, and we all know where they then end up. They end up on the outskirts, in slums, and no way to make a living. It's a very beautiful film, very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shule.
The senses that elements like water gives us is also the basis of our memories, whether it's personal, whether it's shared memory within our communities. And it's one of the things that sort of make us move and understand our cities and how we attach to it, how we fight for things that we like. If you think about water as a fluid, then there is that sort of smoothness and the flow of their campaign. And that is quite surprising, I have to say, is that because the women featured in the film, they never ran a campaign like this before. And for some of them, it was the first time they actually participated in something like this. And they did a wonderful job. And this film is a homage to them.
Yes, I was going to say that was really interesting. Those people kind of in an uncomfortable environment, but were so passionate about saving or renovating their Turkish bath that they were all really involved and committed for such a long time. Nevra, do you want to come in at this point?
It was a new experience for me to actually visit the baths.
Well, the Turkish baths in the film are, of course, extremely beautiful. You know, most Turkish baths that you would normally visit is with a sauna, kind of much more newish sauna complex. But in the film, they're stunning, kind of Art Deco, really fantastic. Yes. I didn't know we had them here in England.
Well, I'm glad then that's the purpose of the film.
Great. Over to Catherine.
Water symbolizes time and life that goes by. Water is illustrated in the film as a flood, an interior flood, a wave in which the character is drowning. The wave goes and it goes by in the film sometimes with the character's mind, the bridge also. So it symbolizes this wave that swipes the memory, the history in the character's mind. So water, it's like life goes by. And so that's how it takes place, the water in my film. And it is important, an important character, the water, yes, in my film because of that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Chantal, over to you.
Alors, l'eau, ben, pour moi, c'est la vie, c'est ma vie parce que je vis, quand je vois l'écran, mais ce que je vois en avant de moi, c'est le fleuve Saint-Laurent. J'ai choisi de revenir vivre ici dans ma région à cause du fleuve Saint-Laurent.
Okay, so for Chantal, water is the life. So she chose to live across the water. So you cannot see, but we have the St. Lawrence River just
Near.
it's near.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And,
We can imagine a reflection in your windows, actually. It looks like that could be a river. Yeah.
Et l'eau est une prémisse de base dans mon travail avec mes danseurs. Et
so the water is like a major element in her work with her dancers.
C'est mon environnement immédiat.
It's like her environment
dans mon quotidien.
In her life, like always life.
Yes. Le fleuve Saint-Laurent et tout son écosystème, c'est une source pour moi d'inspiration pour à chaque fois que je fais venir des danseurs ici, je les implante vraiment sur le bord du fleuve et c'est toute ma source d'inspiration.
So when the dancers are coming in our village, it is very important for Chantal to like bring the dancer in the water to explore what is Saint-Jean-Port-Joli, to be here with her and also with the nature.
And, l'énergie du fleuve, le changement des saisons aussi, toutes les différentes textures, tous les paysages aussi qui découlent de mon environnement. Moi, je travaille beaucoup avec le gravier, avec la vase, avec le vent, avec les glaces, parce que mon premier film est issu des glaces en hiver. Et ma gestuelle est fortement inspirée des oiseaux, de la migration des oies blanches qui passent juste devant ma fenêtre au printemps et à l'automne.
Okay, so she worked a lot with the seasons. It is important for her to like feel all the seasons. T'es allé vite là,
Les paysages.
Landscape.
Yeah, escape. Yes, thank you. After that.
Après, je travaille avec tous les éléments de la nature comme le gravier.
Okay, yeah. So she worked with the gravel, ice, tides, mud, wind, and she tried to also I don't know if you know this big bird in Canada. It's called where is the word? No, white goose. Do you know?
Goose, yeah.
Yeah. So white goose is very like the
vocabulary and
yes.
the verb.
Yes. So in Clementine, you can see her like do some move.
Yes.
So it's very like inspired by the white goose. So water is like all your movie. It's like a part of the movie.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It really brings the films even more to life hearing your explanations. I'm just really so amazed how much can be conveyed in just minutes, and it can be experimental films, drama, animation. It's really a fantastic world of short films. As a medium, it's really incredibly powerful, and you've shown that in all your films. So that leaves me to say to our audience, to please go to the WOFF website, that's WOFFF.co.uk, and that's the place where you can vote for the audience choice, and the winners will be awarded with photographs. And what are the prizes this year, Nula?
The big prize is a bottle of gin, so look out for that.
Bottle of gin is great. So can I please thank you all for your contributions. It's really wonderful and very, very nice to meet you all and to talk to you. All the things that we can't do via Zoom, there isn't another dimension, which I think is really quite intimate. I feel like I've kind of almost visited all your houses, which is very kind of you to let us in. So if we can all wave goodbye to our audience, and then we'll sign off. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.